Well, it's time for another updated 2015 NFL mock draft, the pre-free agency version, with free agency just a few days away now. I would expect the mock drafts to look a whole lot different in the next weeks to come. I most certainly know that my mock drafts are going to be very fluid, and you will see a lot of changes still in the weeks to come. I assure you, we're still almost 2 months away from the NFL draft. There are going to be some changes happening. I believe last time I promised you a 3-round mock. Well, I changed up just a little bit. I gave you this time a 2-round mock draft, which you can see in the description box down below. But this one is different from the previous ones I've done. This one actually has trades, at least in round number 1. I wanted to see how a mock draft would look with trades, because most of the mocks you see right now, everybody's pretty much stationary where they're at, and that's it, and those are the picks, so on and so forth. And we know that's just not how the NFL draft works. Some years you see more activity in terms of trades in round number 1 than others, but you know every year you're going to get some trades. There's going to be movement up and down the draft board every year, and most certainly happens. So that's what I want to talk about here, some of the trades that I could envision happening. I'm not saying at this point in time, being at the beginning of March, that these are all trades or even any of the trades that are likely to happen, but there are a few of them that I could definitely envision being a possibility. First, I look at Oakland moving up to number 2 to take Leonard Williams. Some of you would be like, well, that's a great deal for Oakland being able to get up and move up only 2 spots to get Leonard Williams, or why the hell would Tennessee bump back to number 4 to take Kevin White? Well, if you can get an additional draft pick or two, and you're a 2-14 team that sucks, like the Tennessee Titans do, without any type of identity really on either side of the ball and lacking talent clearly on both sides of the ball, to be able to peel back 2 picks and still get a big-time player like Kevin White makes all the sense of the freaking world, especially if you're not going to draft Marcus Mariota at number 2, especially if you're going to roll into 2015 with Zach Mettenberger as your starter, then you best damn sure give him some help on the offensive side of the ball. He's got Kendall Wright there. He's got Delaney Walker there. You don't have much of a running game there with Bishop Sankey. I'll give you that. And Justin Hunter, you know, he's got to stay healthy in order to live up to his potential. But Kevin White is that type of legit number 1 wide receiver at the National Football League level that every young quarterback needs, that every young quarterback wants. And the Titans would have the ability to get that type of guy and be able to accumulate some additional draft picks. I would consider that a big win for the Tennessee Titans. Furthermore, when you're talking about taking a defensive end to play in the 3-4, do you really want to take him at number 2 overall when you could get another big-time prospect at another huge position of need, of which the Titans have so many, and get picks in the process? I'm just saying. Now, of course, you'll see the big trade here. I've got the Eagles moving up from number 20 to number 6 to get Marcus Mariota. Personally, I think the Jets should strongly consider taking Mariota if he's there at pick 7, or 6, excuse me. I most certainly hope he falls to number 7 for my Chicago Bears, because they could possibly be that, they could possibly be that stupid again, or that they would maybe actually trade up a little bit. But I can't dream, I can't hope. So as a result, I've got the Eagles trading up and giving up a lot to go up and get their guy in Mariota. It seems like he's their guy. It makes a lot of sense that he would be that guy. The best chance for success at the NFL level in a lot of people's eyes, even though I don't necessarily fully agree, is for Marcus Mariota to play under his college head coach, Chip Kelly, at the NFL level. It is what it is. I've got the 49ers moving up from 15 to 9, swapping with the Giants to be able to get Amari Cooper. When I look at Cooper, you know, like I said, he's my number 4 wide receiver on the board, but the difference between number 1 and number 4 isn't that great. And when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, they badly, desperately need a speedy playmaker at the wide receiver position. For a team that's accumulated so many draft picks and had so many picks in recent years, it makes a lot of sense for the 49ers to move up into the top 10, maybe ahead of a team like the St. Louis Rams, to ensure themselves of getting a day 1 contributor and a day 1 impact player like Amari Cooper for Colin Kaepernick and that 49ers offense. I've got the Dolphins moving up a couple picks to get Devante Parker, so that way the Browns could slide down and get Brandon Scherff from Iowa. A lot of people will sit there and say, well, why wouldn't the Browns just take a wide receiver there at number 12? Because of the fucking Browns, okay? Instead of taking like Odell Beckham Jr. and Teddy Bridgewater last year, they took Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel. Don't question me when it comes to the fucking Browns. You should know better than that. Child, please. What else do I have going on? I've got the Browns moving up a couple of slots to go get Devin Smith, maybe to make sure that the Kansas City Chiefs don't get him. You might not see Devin Smith this high on a lot of different mock drafts, but I think he's a guy as the draft process goes along because of the skills and the speed and explosiveness and big playability that he brings to the table. And as people watch more film of him, more teams are going to be higher on him. And I expect him to be the 4th wide receiver taken in this year's NFL draft. But a lot of trades here. I think I ended up with a total of 7 in round number 1. I think last year there was a total of 5. You've had years where there's been 4 or 5, years where there's 8 or 9. I think somewhere between 6 to 8 is going to be the sweet spot for this year's draft. You'll see edge rushers are still relatively prominent in the top half of my first round. I've got a total of 5 of what you would classify the edge rushers. With the Giants peeling back to 15, they're able to take Bud Dupree, a guy who I think fits them incredibly well and could be a real monster on the other side of JPP, who they're bringing back into the fold long term. But yeah, you can look at the 2-round mock down below in the description box. Check out what I have in place for each of your teams. Let me know what you think of my mock, whether or not you'd be happy or dissatisfied if your teams did what I have them mocked to do at this point in time. But again, remember, it's all subject to change, and a lot of things will change. I assure you still, it's a very fluid process over the next almost 2 months now. I'll be back with another mock next week, and I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of changes in that one too.